05 Toyota Highlander, 284,000 miles, and I have some trouble codes. I have 3, and they're all evap codes, which I have pretty regular with this car. First one, P0442, small evap leak. The second one also P0442, another small leak. And the last one, P0456, very small evap leak. So in my investigation of those codes, I came across this as a possibility: a failing canister purge solenoid. A defective canister purge solenoid may set off the check engine light. Now this is what the purge valve on my car looks like. I tested my old one. It tested as being bad. I used 12 volts straight from the battery to do that. I'll show you how. This is the actual valve that I bought. It's been delivered, so let's get them swapped out. Now my 05 Highlander has a V6 3.3 liter engine, and in order to get to that valve, I have to take the engine cover off. You probably will also. There are 3 nuts that hold this cover on, and you need a 4mm Allen wrench to get those nuts out. When you pull the cover off, that purge valve is right here. Now you'll see a zip tie holding the wiring harness on for that valve. That's because when I took it off before to test it, the wiring harness just shattered. And if you have an old car, you know what I'm talking about. Pretty much anything you touch that's plastic just disintegrates. And carefully pull what's left of my wiring harness out. And that's all that's left, but it does work. There's one screw that holds that purge valve on, and it's right down here. You're gonna need to pop this wiring harness out. I had to take a pair of small channel lock pliers and squeeze that locking tab from underneath as I pulled up. And that's gonna have to be moved out of the way so that you can get to that Phillips head screw with a 90-degree screwdriver, which you're gonna need unless you have an incredibly short, stubby screwdriver. This filter on this valve will slide off. That'll give you more room. Now we have access to that set screw. And I just dropped it naturally, because that screw's kind of small, and if you got big fat fingers, you might drop it. So that screw's the only thing holding it on, but there are 2 hoses attached. We have to get those off. You can see this hose is split down here at the end, so I'm going to put some electric tape around that before I put it back on. Now I'll show you how to test the valve, which I've already done on this one and it failed. I'm going to put one test lead on one of the pins, another test lead on the other. Doesn't matter which color lead goes on which pin. Going to put the other end of the black lead on the negative battery terminal. And when I touch the other end of the red lead to the positive battery terminal, which supplies 12 volts to the valve, we should hear a click from this valve if it's good. And we don't hear anything, so this valve is bad. And for the new valve, I'm going to do the same thing. And on this one, we will hear a click. So this valve is good. So we tested the old valve, we know it's bad. We tested the new valve, we know it's good. I'm going to put that electric tape around this hose because I don't want it to split anymore. This hose looks fine. I don't see any breaks in that. And to reinstall the new valve, all you have to do is get that screw started. Going to be easier said than done. Now with the screw tight, we can put those hoses back on. Put the wiring harness back in, such as it is, and put another zip tie around it. Another piece just broke off. I'm gonna have to hit the salvage yard to get a new one, or possibly find one online, because anything I find at a salvage yard, it's gonna be old and brittle also. Put that filter back on, snap the wiring harness back in. That's it. Old one out, new one in. Now we can clear those evap codes. Emission related diagnostic information has been cleared. So let's start the car. Check engine light should be gone, which it is. And that should solve my P0442 and P0456. So that's how to replace the evap canister purge valve on an 05 Toyota Highlander with a V6 3.3 liter engine. Cost about $17. I'll put a link to the one that I used in the video down below in the description. Hope this helps you out. Thanks for watching.